So right here we have the book, The Negro Rulers of Scotland and its British Isles by Dr. John L. Johnston. Now what I like to do when I read these type of books, I like to go to the notes to see where he's getting his information from. Just, cross-referencing. And I like this book because it gives you all the other books so you can go and look at, cross-reference. Oh, look at this, realhistorywww.com. Okay, so I'm going to read some of these books in here. So I got a lot of these books, and some of these books you can find on Internet Archive. But some of these books are going to be probably priced high, and then, they might get rid of some of these books because the truth and certain information is coming out in these days. Okay, number 1, origin of the Anglo-Saxon race. He cites a study of settlement of England and the tribal origin of the Old English people. Okay, the history of the Vikings, the Black Vikings. Okay, so this is one book that he uses. Number 2, Ethiopia and the Missing Link. Spain and Portugal were called Iberian Ethiopia. Okay. Let me see. The Phoenician origins of Britain, Scots, and the Anglo-Saxons. The Gaels themselves were originally Africans. Okay. Now, here's a Caucasian man in the book, the Scottish historian McRitchie, in his book called Ancient and Modern Britons. Okay. I have volume 1. Here's volume 2. Okay. And it says, commented that the first Britons were black in complexion. Macy, in his book called A Book of the Beginnings, volume 1, attributes the earliest Europeans to have been of the black races. Okay. So this is the real education. Okay. This is what these elite people, if you want to go there in that, discussion or topic. But we're taught the slave narrative, right? Okay. The victimization and so forth. So now we're going to be reading from the book Ancient and Modern Britons, Volume 1 by David McRitchie, a Caucasian. And hear what he says. The question of the origin of the white races, which have now long held the supremacy in these islands, scarcely enters into the present inquiry, which has to do more with their colored predecessors. I repeat, their colored predecessors. Now let's look up the word predecessors. So predecessor, one who has held an office or position before the present holder. So it's like musical chairs. We were there first. Now we have people who are trying to say that we were never there or we had no presence in these lands. And at the bottom it says meaning ancestor or forefather from the 14th century. And we know who was ruling or dominant in that time period. Reading on, it says, the exact locality of the cradle of the human race is not likely to be ever anonymously agreed upon. As the writer just spoken of signifies all discussion regarding it to almost useless. Okay. It says, while a fourth, as we see, hints that the home, if not the cradle, of the so-called white race was Europe. But that seems little probability of any of these theories ever becoming substantiated. We have just seen that many scientific men hold that there are some grounds for believing that portions, at least of Europe, have been formerly inhabited by black, tawny, and copper-colored races. And we are also learning that the so-called white race has not always been confined to the Eastern Hemisphere. Number 3, a Welsh childhood, Hamitic languages. Ancient and Modern Britons, McRitchie. Number 4, origin of the Anglo-Saxon race. Number 5, the Tudor, Stuart, and early Georgian picture in the collection of Her Majesty, the Queen Edward VI. Okay. Number 6, the Lady in the Tower. Number 7, Ungrateful Daughters, Waller, Black in the Face. Number 8, Ethiopia and the Missing Link, same book. Number 10, the phrase blue blood was originally given to the royal Moorish Negro rulers of Spain and the rest of Europe by the suppressed whites, whom after defeating the Negroes' grip over Europe applied the phrase to themselves, even until this day. Through arrogance and ignorance, the whites are actually saying that they have Negro blood in their veins. About AD 1830, it became popular for white Europeans to redefine the phrase blue blood to only indicate a person who could see their own blue veins in a lighter skin. Number 11, realhistorywww.com. Okay. Number 12, the Dictionary of American Regional English. Negro are synonymous. 13, the Hebrew grammar. 14, language monographs. The pyramid Semitic writings. Ox means am. Pyramid text. N means ox. Okay. 15, an introduction to the study of the Kabbalah. 16, an Egyptian hieroglyphic dictionary. Okay, I'm not going to say that because they might think I'm using that other word. 17, Journal of the Ancient Near Eastern Society. 18, Strong's Exclusive Concordance. Okay. 19, Jewish family names and their origin. MEL means black. The first settlers of Ireland were an African giant race known as the Forminians and the sons of Ham. They intermixed with oncoming settlers such as the Gaelic Malaysians. Okay. The oldest skull found in Spain was Negroid and not Caucasoid. Okay. 20, Nature Knows No Color Line. 21, Ancient and Modern Britons. Okay. Number 22, Nature Knows No Color Line again. 23, Origin of the Anglo-Saxon Race. Same thing for 24. 25, Ethiopia and the Missing Link. 26, the same thing. Nature Knows No Color Line. Celtic Identity. Tales of the Grandfather, being the history of Scotland from the earliest times. Okay. So you see, he uses a lot of the same books, but he uses a lot of other different books as well. The Oxford Dictionary. Okay. You can look up these books. They're probably trying to overprice some of these books, right? They're trying to suppress any type of information. They want you in the slave narrative only mindset. You come from West Africa and that's it. They don't want so-called black people to know that they come from Europe, or just different regions on this earth. That's the history they don't want you to know about. Okay. And as well as being, Hebrewic people as well. So they're trying to suppress that information. And we have to ask ourselves, we know we're gifted. We know that the Most High has gifted his people special, organic, gifts. But in this current society, we are just minstrels. And I use minstrels because when you look it up, it just means entertainer, someone who's performing some type of art, like a rapper or musician or whatnot. So, they don't want the so-called black man to come into his own fruition of, okay, we need to do things on our own. We can build on our own. It's always building with other nations of people. And where has it got us? Nowhere. I believe Martin Luther King's last speech was, you know, I put my people into a burning house.